Do you want to see if your local congressperson is talking about an issue that you care about? I do. And I think we can. Or at least we can see if some of those conversations are happening by checking your representative's Twitter account. How much are they tweeting about the issues that you care about? Well, let's use Alteryx and Tableau to find out. Hey everyone, Nick here. In this video, I'm going to harvest some Twitter data using Alteryx. Then I'm going to visualize it using Tableau, and then we're going to see what my local Congress people are saying about a particular issue. The data I'm going to collect today for this workflow is a tweet from every congressperson since September of last year, 2017. Lucky for me, there's a smart dude Alex who decided to build an automator which harvests and stores these tweets daily. He makes that data available by storing the data in JSON files, which I'm accessing from his GitHub project. I will definitely link that project down in my video description after this. So, using Alteryx, I'm going to be able to ingest all of his files, blend them using some other congressional data that I picked up earlier, and then we're going to create a usable data set that'll be ready for analysis. So here you'll see I'm using the download tool to pick up all these JSON files that we've collected. I'm going to limit the records to 10 just for speed purposes. Then we're going to use the JSON parse tool here so that we can actually look at the downloaded data. Click on the browse tool. We see we actually have some data now that we're starting to see. The JSON name, which will eventually be our field names, and then the values that we're picking up. To parse those out, I'm going to use the text to columns tool. We're going to use about 5 columns here. So those will be the columns that we actually use in our analysis. On this next tool, I'm going to use a find and replace. I'm just going to find the JSON strings and also some dash marks, just so we can kind of clean up the date field, so we can aggregate the tweet dates up into an actual day versus the hour that they sent the tweets. So now we're starting to look like we're getting a usable data set here. For the next piece, we're going to go fields to split, JSON name. Look at our browse tool. You'll see that's what we had before. Let's click on our other one here. Now it looks like we actually have a, let's see. I'm actually going to look at the date within field. The date. Now let's look at the browse tool here. You'll see before the date has some dashes in it, and now it's just a space delimiter. So let's cleanse that up a little bit. We'll use the data cleanse tool for that. And if we look on the browse tool, actually let me just clean up the date here, remove the white space. Then I'll click on the browse tool, and now we have the date in a usable format. So why did I do that? Well, I want to create an ID. So every JSON file has a JSON name to it. Those repeat every single day, so I want to make that a unique ID. So we can concatenate that with the date, and then I'm just going to limit the fields after that we want to use. So I'll pick the ID here, and pick the JSON name too, which I saw was the field name that we're going to be using. Then we're going to use the value that came from that field. So from there, click on the browse. Now we actually have our ID and every field. So we only have the 2 columns now, or the 2 fields, and I want to cross-tab that so we can make a more normalized data set. So let's click on the ID here to group it by that. And for the column headers, go grab our field name, and then we're going to grab our value. So let's kick that off here. Oh, check that box. Now let's go click the value. There we go. Click run on that, check out our browse tool, and we should, here we go, have a good data set. So you'll see we have our ID, which are unique tweets. We have our screen name of the congressperson that we're going to match up with the data set that I pulled down previously, and the actual text from the tweets. One more field I want to make is just called date of tweet. So I wanted to make sure that I didn't get the hours on there, so I'm just going to use the left function. Just grab the previous 10 characters of my date time, or my time field there. Click on there, and you'll see over here to the right, data tweet. So now we have a more usable data set. So previously, I picked up this congressional database which matches up the Congress people's usernames, and we can match up their social media data, and also their district information, and we can join that up to the data set we created. You'll see I'm just speeding this up here in this video so we can kind of get through it and move on to our final piece, which would be the Tableau analysis. So while I do that, let's review. Why is any of this important? What motivated me to do this? And then also make this video showing you how to. I'm going to rewind to last weekend. I was browsing the Alteryx community and saw a couple questions being asked to prepare for this year's Alteryx Inspire conference. 1. How does Alteryx allow me to kick ass at work? And 2. What do I do to fulfill my passions outside of work? Well, I'm hoping that this video answers both these questions. First, I'll start off by saying that Alteryx was a real turning point in my career. I remember exactly where I was when I realized that my data analysis did not need to be 80% prep and wrangling, and instead could be a fraction of that. I learned that Alteryx was the tool I've been looking for to mine my data, transform my data, blend my data, and load the data to get analyzed. Which was the final step to get to the fun part, providing insights into the data to my colleagues. On a professional level, Alteryx helped me grow from being an analyst in a corporate environment and into the role of a consultant in the advanced analytics space. Also, Alteryx made it so I can get my day job done in enough time to not have to take my work home with me. Which I think is a good segue into my next point of all this, that we data analysts do not need to spend the time that we currently do on data prep. Alteryx helped me realize this, and they built their entire business model around that fact. You'll see on their community pages that they often invite the entire Alteryx community to do more good with all their newfound free time. As Alteryx put it, together we can have significant impacts in our communities and in the lives of others. Well, that's also one of my passions. I have found that Alteryx has been a great tool for me to give back to the local organizations that I'm currently involved in, and in doing so, I've come to recognize how easily the tool can be used to influence social change through analytics. That brings me back to the demo we've been watching in this. For obvious reasons, recently I was interested in which of my representatives in Minnesota were talking about gun control legislature. I figured a likely platform for our representatives to voice their concerns around the issue is Twitter. So, using Alex's GitHub project as my source, Alteryx to prep and blend the data, and eventually Tableau to visualize it, I was able to quickly and readily digest exactly what my representatives were saying or not saying about the issue. From here, I'm able to share with others what their state reps are tweeting about around gun policy, as well as make this data publicly available for others to use, which I've also done on data.world. I will link to that project below in the video description as well. So we can look at this issue, or we can look at other issues and see what Congress is or is not talking about on Twitter. And we can do all of this in about 15 minutes. Pretty cool. I plan on continuing using Alteryx not only to kick ass in my data work from the day gig, but also to drive conversation and accountability within my community and within the lives of others. I hope you'll do the same. And I hope you enjoy this little story of my life-altering analytics. If you're interested in trying Alteryx for yourself, or want to check out Alex's GitHub project that I mentioned, or the data repository on data.world, scope out the links below in the video description. I'll also include the location of where I'm going to store all the congressional tweet data. Till next time, thanks.